Good morning. For the first day in a long time. Don't feel like watching from the sidelines.
Welcome to the Core Conversations podcast by Ampelis, where our goal is to help you fuel, use, and rest your bodies in ways that unlock its innate abilities for physical and mental health. My name is Robbie Harmon, and I'll be your host. Welcome to another episode of Core Conversations, where our goal is to help you fuel, use, and rest your bodies in ways that unlock its innate abilities for physical and mental health. I'm excited for our episode today. We have Tanna Fox with us, who's been with us multiple times before. And this episode is a long time coming.
So excited about it.
We have mentioned throughout the conversations we've had on this podcast, this product, Core7, and we haven't really told you much about it yet. We've been waiting. And today we want to tell you a little bit about it. We're going to do our best because it's complex.
So true.
So Tanna has been just a tremendously trusted and helpful thought partner as we've created this product. So we're excited to share more about it with you today.
Yeah.
Tanna, if this is your first episode listening, Tanna is an international sports certified nutritionist. She actively works with people on diet, exercise, nutrition, trying to improve their mental and physical health. She works with athletes and mothers and all sorts of people. She's created content that has just been resonant with people. We've deployed at Ampelis in a group coaching series called Elevated Nutrition that people just love. And so that's Tanna's brainchild. So we're grateful for Tanna that she's here today and grateful that we can dive into this topic.
I know, me too.
Before we do, I would love to just ask you this question that I teed up, but we had a clip of yours from one of our last conversations go viral. I'm just curious to hear your reflections on that. Like, I wonder, what do you think it was that made that particular clip go semi-viral?
Well, I don't know. I actually was thinking about this the other day because when something like that happens, for us, it's not massively viral, but it's bigger than we're used
compared to what we've done.
What we've done. And so I think the reason why it probably went a little bit more big or out of the typical bubble is because it was short and it was bold.
Oh, interesting.
I think it was just like enough that it could capture someone's attention, but it wasn't controversial, but it was a bold statement to make. And so it did capture a lot of people's attention. And I was glued to my phone, like looking at the comments, like, okay, how many people, it was just new. It's never happened to me before. So I was just curious to know what the response was. And in this process, I told you this earlier, but I had a friend say to me, if you wouldn't take advice from this person, don't take a critique, because some of the people didn't agree. And it was really interesting to see, like, well, how can you not agree with this? It's science. Or I was just teaching what I had learned from a really trusted doctor and regurgitating the information. And so I think I was a little bit shocked to hear, some of these pushbacks, I guess, if you will. So anyways, I still stand behind the things that I was taught. And I think most importantly, because it was a concept that I learned a while ago. And I put it into practice for myself, but also for, I don't know how many dozens of people, and especially women, because that's what the topic was about. It was about lifting weights for women and, a new way to try it. And I have seen it work time and time again. And so I couldn't deny the truth that I had seen in it, even though I had a few people that maybe thought it was, nonsense. But it was a really great learning lesson in just like things you say will get people's attention and make sure they're impactful, make sure they're based in truth, make sure they are, uplifting. Also, I think with what we're trying to do with Core, that was really a great experience for me to just always stay grounded in the truth, stay grounded in what's the most important and see. And the people that it did reach, I was grateful for. One of them was this man who is a personal trainer for just women. And I looked at his account and he's like, I have seen this. And he has multiple followers, right? He's like, this is how I train the women that I work with, and they all see success. So it felt really validating, I guess, in a way, to also hear there's people too that know the truth of it. So anyways, just a couple of my reflections on it. I don't know. Fun. What did you think?
I loved it. I think you're right. I think it was short and bold, but the other thing that I've liked a lot about the things that you've said on this podcast is they're born of experience helping real people. Yeah. And so they're practical. Like there's so many sources of information out there that we can go into the science of this or that, but like practical implementation tips.
Yeah.
That's what people are looking for.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think that it was partly that, because it's something people could act on.
Yeah,
You
you're
know?
exactly right. And it was fun to see that I know that it's worked for people. So I thought, even if you don't agree, that's okay. I tried to be nice, like, well, thanks for sharing your opinion. Maybe I didn't even need to do that, but I was like, it works so great for so many. So that's kind of fun. It's kind of interesting. Yeah.
Well, so I mean, I think that sense of practicality and just implementation is one of the underlying principles we've tried to pursue, right, with this project of Core7.
Absolutely.
And so I would love, maybe just as we set the stage to launching into some of the ingredients, I think what we'll do today is we're going to refer to our notes, because this is more complex than most.
And Robbie,
topics.
You really are one of probably the best expert of this product, because you know it inside and out, and on the behind the scenes calls and fixing some formulation things that I haven't even participated in. So you will be the true expert in this product, which is, I'm so grateful that we get to tag team it, because
it's very fun.
It's an incredible supplement that is just about to emerge. I'm so excited about it.
So let's start with the background, because before we launch into this, and I don't want to take long on this topic, but I'd love to just share with people some of the why.
Yeah.
Like, why did we even do this? And I can share from my perspective, and maybe you share from your perspective. Okay. And I think there's also two maybe types of people that will listen to this. Some are not taking any supplements. Yeah. And they're like, so why is this relevant for them? Mm-hmm. And other people might be taking lots of things and they feel like they've already got the bases covered. So why is this relevant for them? I'd love to maybe hopefully tease out the answers to both of those questions in this background, but I'll just set the stage from the Ampelis perspective, and then maybe we can talk about the intersection when we met you and how this has then intrigued you and made you excited to be a part of it. Yeah. So we, as we talked about in prior episodes, have had this company focused on
an incredible company
helping others to cultivate a deeper sense of meaning and purpose in their life. And our belief was that if we can do that, we're going to combat a lot of the mental health issues that are out there, whether it's depression or anxiety or addiction. At the root of that, we believe people need a sense of purpose and meaning from which they're building, change patterns and behaviors. And that's led us to addiction recovery. We had a residential treatment center. We've got outpatient clinics. But for us, I've tried to eat healthy and stuff, but when we were involved in that really intense period of time, helping people trying to repair relationships and manage addictions and fix their physical health that was being wrecked because of poor decisions and other things, we made big changes in nutrition. And then we also supplemented really aggressively with amino acids and vitamins and minerals and other things. And we saw very quick and very, very noticeable changes in these people.
I love that part of the story. Yeah.
And so I started to realize the power of this, not just to live a healthy life, but to enact pretty dramatic change in a life where you're feeling low energy or you don't have good control over your cravings or whatever. Good nutrition and supplementation can do that. And so, but we had this intense regimen, and when people were with us for 30 days in an inpatient setting, and we could control what they ate and put their vitamins and minerals and supplements out for them in their little packs, compliance was awesome.
Yeah.
And then you go home and it's like, here's these 8 bottles of things, and you take these 5 in the morning and these 3 at lunch and these 4 in the evening. And all of a sudden compliance dropped, right? Because nobody wants to do that. It's kind of annoying. But yet I couldn't deny that it was helping them. And so then fast forward years, and this very short version of a long story is that we started looking for a solution that would simplify that and trying to find products that were evidence-based, that already existed, that we could just recommend to people. Yeah. And we, after number of months of searching and talking to different companies and trying different products.
I was gonna say, experimenting with a few different products too.
Yeah. Yeah. Even going down and trying to figure out, should we white label different products that already exist? We ultimately concluded that we couldn't find any that met each one of our criteria. And those had to do with completeness, the dosing of different ingredients in them, the breadth of the ingredients. When I say completeness, I mean the breadth. So the breadth, the dosing, so they were like clinically valid, efficacious, and then the quality or the wholeness of them. We didn't want anything synthetic, and we wanted to just have whole food based ingredients, and we couldn't find it. And so that's when, we said, let's go figure out if we can create that. Yeah. But it was during that time, it's about that time when we were starting to try different things.
Mhm.
Before we decided to create something, we had started working with you on creating the elevated nutrition
Yeah.
course. So I'd love to hear your retelling of
Oh.
what that story was like and what made you excited about this, going down this path of creating Core7.
Yeah, it's fun to look back and think. And I even was telling you earlier to even dive into this in more in depth, knowing we're going to talk about some of these ingredients. It has sparked this overwhelming excitement about how incredible the power of a really good quality supplement can be. So to kind of pick up where you are left off or give a different angle, my perspective, I just remember feeling like this couldn't be real. Like this felt like it was such an honor to meet and to come in and to be able, like you said, when it was my brainchild, it really was 10 years of studying nutrition and supplements. I believe in the power of food, but I also know that we need supplements to help make up where we lack or where the whole food industry might be missing some, small gaps and things like that. And so as we were creating the elevated nutrition program and the whole protocol, the 6 weeks protocol, it was so exciting for me. And then little by little, as I kind of was getting a little bit more involved and having some more phone calls and being invited to some things, I remember distinctly separate things in my life, actually unrelated to Ampelis, that were kind of pulling me into this realm of quality of ingredients, whole food, and randomly coming into contact with contract manufacturers and supplement, wholesalers and things like that, and people that were in charge of this, and having really incredible conversations, but feeling a fire inside of me, again, unrelated to the work we were doing together at Ampelis, but just different sides of my notes. And I just knew that there was the hand of God involved in a lot of it. And I remember thinking, okay, I'm going to just lean into this. As uneducated as I feel that I am, I'm going to take what I know and hold on to the truth and dive right in. And so I feel like it was, being like drinking out of a fire hose, because it was just fast learning, quick. And it was kind of sticking, but also just continually learning every day, learning new things. And so as we started to experiment with some of those different products, we're like, okay, this is great. I think this is good, but we have this. Okay, let's try something else. And then how fun, there was one time where we were sitting outside of a manufacturer. Do you remember this? It was me, you, and Ken. We were talking about if we could just talk to the person that created this particular, supplement that we liked and we had some questions about. We're like, this feels like it's a good one. Maybe we could get our hands. And it was literally the next morning I was teaching a gut health class downtown to like hundreds of women. And one of the attendees came in and it wasn't even related to that, but she just had introduced herself and she told me about what she did. And I was like, wait, that I was just last night hoping to meet someone like you. And from then, I feel like that's kind of what opened the doors. And we were just able to learn more and more from this connection led to this connection, which led to another connection, which really evolved into now what we have, just little introductions. And again, just being divinely guided. So from that perspective, for me, I feel like so much of it is miraculous. And then as we went to some of these shows, and started to learn about different supplements even more in depth, there really was nothing like this that, like you said, that we found. And so it became even more of this, I don't know how to say this without just saying it, but this like divinely guided
it's like a calling.
opportunity.
Like we have this opportunity to create something that will really bless the world.
Yes. And particularly in this realm of mental health and performance and wellness, because there are lots of supplements and not all of them are great, but also not all of them are bad besides this one. And they all have a purpose. And so to be able to stand behind, the power of a supplement and to really be part of one that was going to be elevated than the other ones that are existing because of those things you said, the breadth, the depth, the quality, the dosage. There's so many studies that talk about how great ingredients are in supplements that we all buy, but they rarely hold enough of what it takes to make that, result come. So the fact that we were all on the same passionate page of like providing the best of the best was such an honor for me. And again, I just feel like it is what is the next step that we kind of have to take in this world of health and wellness and supplements and food. And I'm just so excited about it. I cannot wait. And to make it taste good. That's one thing we haven't talked about yet, but wait till you guys all try it. It is actually delicious. And the fact that we did it for kids on top of that, dosed correctly. I mean, the benefits just kept coming. And I just kept thinking, this is so magnificent beyond anything that like a man on his own with his own knowledge could do. There was just some orchestration going on behind the scenes that are undeniable. That.
So there was you would know, Elder Neil A. Maxwell was he was a church leader. and he's passed away
One of my
15,
favorites.
20 years ago, but
Yeah.
such a profound thinker and writer and so articulate. And he talked about, he used the story of the star that shone the night that Jesus was born in the Bible. And he said, so often God will set things in motion, like the orbits of different stars and planets, so they can align and shine in just the moment they need to.
Yes.
And it felt like that, didn't it?
Totally
like
did. He said something like he put it into motion millennia ago, so it would shine that very night. And I feel like we experienced that in the process of this in a lot of ways. I love that you brought that up. So yeah, it's so true.
And how many people, I hadn't reflected on that, but like you're meeting with Diana, and then Diana to Sarah, and then we met Kimball, and we picked up all these, I'm naming people without going into their roles or whatever, but
touring the factories, the one guy, Brent, that randomly met in a nail salon. His daughter was like, what are you talking about? All those things have just added to the knowledge. So it was really cool.
It's been pretty, better than we could have created if we sat down and said, this is what we want to do and let's do it. It's been iterative with all these people that we've met. And so I'm so grateful for that reflection, because it's reminding me of how divinely orchestrated it feels.
Yeah.
So
it's
fun
an
to be
honor
a part
to
of
be
that.
part of. Yes, I agree with that so much. So
okay, so November 12th, we're going to have a launch event. And so very soon after November 12th, maybe it's the next day, maybe it's November 12th. We don't know when exactly we're going to turn on the website and start shipping the product, but probably November 12th.
Yeah, which would be so great. We've been anticipating this. Remember, it was originally June.
I know.
July, and then the fall. So everyone, we're really excited about this because it's been a long time coming.
We can't wait to share it. We can't wait to share it with you.
Yeah.
And it's been delayed because of important things, though.
Yeah.
It's, we were told, you mentioned taste, and we were told it wouldn't mix well. We were told it couldn't taste good. And there's been a lot of effort and different iterations to go through to try to make that happen.
And I think we accomplished it.
Yeah.
Truly. So.
Okay.
I know.
So,
we have so many papers on the table, and I even have my glasses because some of the print's really small. But it's fine. We'll pull them out.
So we are going to launch. Then we have inventory that we hope is enough to get us going. We are going to cap our subscribers for the first couple months at 2,000 subscribers, just because we want to be able to fulfill those subscriptions with the inventory we have as we're replenishing. So somewhat of a limited inventory, but we it's enough to get it out there and let you try it. If you're listening, there's an opportunity for you to get involved and have access to this in the next couple weeks.
Yes.
Okay. So let's go through this. And this is going to be somewhat complicated because there's 51 active ingredients.
Yes.
And we can't talk about all of them in depth.
I mean, one day, but we'll take 10 hours.
Yeah. And so we're going to do our best to highlight some.
Yeah.
And we can post, the complete ingredient list, maybe in the show notes, or put a link to it. And it'll be on the website in the next week or so. So, but we're going to do our best to go through that. As we set the stage and start launching into this, I do want to reflect on one more thing and that was we had a little offsite where we were talking about who is this for? Like, who is this? Yeah. Who's this product for? Who's our main audience? Who's going to care? And I don't know if it was you or Kim or somebody said,
I loved it. Yeah.
This product is really for moms who do their homework. I'd be curious to hear your reflection, because that struck a chord with all of us when she said it.
Yeah. And I couldn't agree more, because I think that's the part that makes buying a supplement a little bit scary, because a lot of the time they're not affordable, right? Yeah. It's an investment for the most part. And you think, is this the right? Okay, well, I know this about this ingredient. I know this about this much. And okay, well, I can't quite find it. So you kind of just end up having to work with what's available a lot of the time, with also not being fully confident. And so when Kim said that, it's for moms that do their homework. We know that we say that also because women are the main consumers in the home.
They're
and so
that's the driver also purchasing for their families.
And then if you really do take a deep dive into what probiotics are going to be great for a kid and how much they need. Same thing with an adult. Do we really need this supplement versus this one? And of course it will all be personal, but if you do a little bit of homework and start to learn a little bit, you can put the pieces together. So that's what we love about this product, is for any parent that will do their homework and just know a little bit more about a couple of the ingredients, it will feel right. It will feel synergistic, and they'll see the proof is in the pudding, basically. You'll see the label and be like, oh, they have that and they have that. So it was a fantastic, phrase we coined from Kim, because it's true.
Which I do love, because I mean, if people, as you said, if people put in a little bit of work to understand these ingredients and where they're coming from and differences in quality between different types of ingredients. And you really are focused on getting things that are from the earth, you know, the vitamins and the minerals, where are the sources of those things that are naturally occurring in the earth.
Which we're so happy to brag about, that there's nothing synthetic in this, which is huge in the market now, because most of the supplements we get are synthetic. I don't even think people realize that. It was one of the things I didn't even realize.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, 99% of the supplements that I'm buying are synthetic. So again, it's been an incredible opportunity to educate.
And you don't know that. I mean, to your point, you're deep in this space, and I've kind of on the fringe been involved in this space with clinics and stuff, but I never even thought of that stuff until we started digging deeper. But again, the proof is in the pudding, as you said it. And so you can tell we're passionate about it. We've kind of avoided trying to like have these conversations be a commercial, but today's kind of
I know
we want you to know about it.
We do. We want to be full transparency. So you see the story.
Okay. So we've talked about the quality, the breadth, the depth, some of these unique attributes of this product. It's an all-in-one product, and that was by design, right? We needed something that would simplify getting the right supplementation in addition to diet, because nobody wants to take 8 things. It gets expensive
and they don't take 8 things. Like you even said, like they'll have the bottles, but will they take them?
Right.
Not likely.
And especially kids, there's no way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Gosh, no way. I've tried.
Yeah. So let's start with the 7 benefits.
Yes, I was going to say, let's start with that, because that is the coolest part about this core, and part of the name too, Core7. So
tell us that, because we have all these things, and we knew we wanted all of them for different things. It started off, we wanted to improve mental health, and then we started to see lots of synergies and other things that would be improved by the ingredients we were bringing together. And I think you were the first to say, I think there's 7 clear categories.
Well, I think Sarah said it.
Oh, probably.
Or maybe. And I remember thinking, wait, 7 is the perfect number, technically, if you were kind of into any kind of number. And I'm not like a crazy number person, but I just remember
in religious
that.
traditions and other things, 7 is a number that's often it's used to convey completeness and perfection. And
exactly. And I just thought that also is not a coincidence.
Right.
So I thought, let's just throw it in the name. If it works, do we just call this the best 7 to heaven? I don't know. But Core7 is so great, because there are 7 perfect blends that, again, just kind of naturally fell into place. And we've had Sarah on the podcast before, who did such an incredible job explaining about, combining supplements and the intricacy of this actual formula, which again was insightful to hear from her perspective. Again, another reflective point to be like, wow, this is such a remarkable feat. But as she divided those up, they were literally the places where we wanted to try to tackle, right? And so should we name them?
Yeah,
I say,
let's name them.
So then there's no particular order. Whatever order you want it to be in is the order where you're going to need it the most. So listen for that. But first and foremost, we start out with whole food nutrition, just so that if you are someone that doesn't eat all the fruits and vegetables for the day and seeds and plants, this will have whole food nutrition, nothing synthetic.
Can I do a minor tangent?
Let's go. Let's just keep shouting back.
But that one struck a chord for me this morning, because my daughter received a call to go do missionary work or service work in Mongolia. And
I know.
Jessica was talking to somebody this morning who had done the same thing. And they said, well, they eat a lot of meat, but it's not seasoned. So you probably want to take some seasoning. They don't eat a lot of fruits and vegetables because they don't grow so much of the year. So I'm just thinking, man,
I know.
Like having something like this that I can send her.
Talk about repeatedly. A safety net. I know. And that is, Robbie, we'll just share this. It's like one of our dreams to get this to missionaries and college kids that don't have access to that kind of stuff. One day we'll set up a big foundation and do that and provide it for the world, for those people that need it, because it is that critical. This whole food nutrition with the vitamins and the minerals and the polyphenols and the things that come from the earth. Again, just this real food that is grown by the sun. So that's the first thing that we have on there, whole food nutrition. And again, depending on where, I don't even know where to start because I didn't lay them in any order.
No, it's okay.
But probably mood and mental clarity is a huge one. Brain health and cognition.
What's the difference between those two things? So like mood and mental clarity versus brain health and cognition. Maybe. How would you differentiate those? And I can chime in too.
Yeah, please. I was going to say, you're also so well versed in this whole topic of not only this product, but just health in general too. So I think that mood and mental clarity has to dealing with outside stressors a lot, because sometimes we forget. In fact, just this morning, someone said to me, if you feel like you're really stressed out, it was my spin teacher. She was darling. I was just getting ready on the way here. And she just said, we were talking about stress and different things in people's lives. And she said, if something's really traumatic, she said, there's no reason to have too much stress. She goes, ask yourself, is it really traumatic or is it just inconvenience? And as I thought about that, I thought that was such a wise perspective. She quoted a doctor from Andrew Huberman that had said that in a podcast. And I think that mood and mental clarity comes because sometimes we're really distracted by outside, influences, whether it is not always having the right food and nutrition, or life just feels really heavy and we think that it's a job, finances, relationships. There's sometimes things that get in the way of having mental clarity or always feeling super happy about life. A lot of it's tied to gut health, which we've talked about before. But in my mind, mood and mental clarity have to deal with living in the environment we live in and learning how to combat and kind of push away distractions that aren't necessary, or learning how to prioritize.
Dealing and responding well to some of those life stressors.
Yes.
A lot of the symptoms that maybe we associate with depression and or anxiety,
Yes.
those type of symptoms can really be impacted by some things that are not pharmaceutical.
Yeah,
they're not medicines. They're adaptogens and botanicals and probiotics and other things. And we can do those, get a lot of benefit in that area without the side effects of medication if we're thoughtful about it.
Exactly. And even just practices too of like meditation and things like that, like you just said. So that to me is kind of where I like to distinguish mood and mental clarity between brain health and cognition, because I think brain health and cognition also deals with amplifying our potential. I think as we age, we know that everything in our body is going to kind of degrade a little bit. Even our brain, things slow down, our muscles start to atrophy, our bones lose their density, right? And that's okay. But when we can focus on this brain cognition, pulling in foods that are bright blues that really do help our brain. I love the mushrooms in this one because it's also a product. You can find mushrooms isolated, but when we put them in here, that's where you get this compound. Again, we talked about this just right before, these neurotransmitter benefits that actually improve our memory, improve our recall, improve the way we think and process, and how fast we start to understand things. So I don't know if that's a very good description of it, but in my mind, I like to think it's like how we can improve our capacity versus mood and mental clarity is kind of
a lot of the emotional things and outside stressors.
Yes.
And then
I don't know. What do you think?
I would just build on what you said on the brain health and cognitive support. And that's a lot of the stuff, as you mentioned, we age and our memories start to decline, our ability to recall, brain processing speed, like all those things start to decline. And
I feel it.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. In my mid 40s, I'm for sure feeling my memory slow a little bit. So I
harder
hate
to
that.
recall things.
Yeah.
There is really good data about some of the things that are in here in slowing that cognitive decline, ability to prolong, brain health and memory and cognition and thinking and all those things. So on both of those, one category, I internalize it as a lot of the life stressors and more of the mental health related things. And the other one's more like longevity and recall and cognitive functioning and processing kind of stuff.
Well said. I completely agree with that. So that was so fun to clarify that. I'm so glad you asked that, because they can feel like they're the same category and they do overlap so much. So let's just be clear on that. But those are the two categories distinct in this formula that have specific targeted ingredients to help combat in each one of those areas. So we said whole food nutrition, sleep quality, mood and mental clarity, brain health and cognition. One of my favorites, gut health and digestive, enzymes.
I knew you were going to say that.
I just love it. I don't know why I'm so drawn to probiotics and the power of the gut. And I even hate that word gut. Like, it's the grossest word. I can think of grosser words, but that word I just am like, could we think of something different? But digestive health, metabolic energy. We did a whole podcast on this, and that one is fascinating from the inside out versus dealing with outside stressors, how powerful our muscles, our mitochondria can be. So we have a whole, I think that might be one of the longest lists. If people could see this.
So many ingredients in there.
So many ingredients that help with metabolic health. And then last, but definitely not least, in fact, maybe a priority for some people, is immunity, which again, over ties to gut health and whole food nutrition and sleep quality. But I hope I listed all seven. Did I get all of them?
Sleep quality is its own distinct category.
Which is, I think, what the world needs the most right now, with how many options and opportunities and distractions there are that keep us awake or think that we need to prioritize over our sleep. If we just kind of pull back, like Mark Basel was on here just talking about the power of sleep. So I love that also gets its own pedestal, if you will, because its sleep quality is what makes our whole bodies, like, we could eat right and exercise, but if we don't sleep, we won't see a lot of those benefits. So
this is this is kind of transformed from, it started off as we need a mental health product
Yeah.
to the more we started to add these different ingredients, like this is something all of us really need.
Yeah.
Like no matter how healthy we eat,
so true.
no matter what age you are and what, like we all need some nutritional gap fillers, and finding it in one solution is going to be really exciting.
Yeah, I know. That's, I think, what's going to be so great about it. And I think, I mean, not that we need to say this, again, it's not an ad, but the price point that you put it at
I know
is a gift also to the world, because this could be a product that would be only for, you know, the upper tier echelon of people that can afford the nicest supplements. But I think
if we followed the same kind of pricing model that most supplement companies do.
Yeah, which is a drastic markup, which rightfully so, because that's what it costs to make and all those things. But I think I also feel I just can't say enough. I'm just so grateful that we can offer that to people. And so hopefully there's no reasons why it's not something that everybody can get. So, yeah.
It would be, each serving would cost less than your swig soda or your cup of coffee at Starbucks or whatever.
So true. So and you put it in those words and you're like, well, of course I would love to do that.
Right.
Knowing all the benefits that we'll probably go through a lot of them, not all of them, but yeah.
Okay, so let's start just down some ingredients, and we don't have to follow the order that I have here. Like, let's hit whatever ones we feel.
You guide us. I kind of did it in the same order.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's highlight some of these.
As we go through this, again, we're not going to hit all of the 51 active ingredients. In total, it's 60 ingredients. By the time we, had to put a couple flavors in there and do things that would make the texture right. And we've tried to go in every case, if we ever presented an option between high quality or lower cost, we chose high quality in every case. And
which is amazing.
It is amazing. Yeah. Including flavoring and all the things.
Yes.
But one that I want to start with, just because I've been intrigued with it lately, is saffron.
I know.
Like I don't know why, but until we started this project, I had never really even thought about that or heard of many people using it. But then I started seeing it everywhere. And like when I started reading, like looking for research.
Yeah, I agree with you. I have known about it because it's actually what I love about saffron, that when it's in here, that if you are someone that does suffer with a little bit of depression and you are on like a Lexapro or some kind of prescription for your depression, saffron has only been shown to help that, and you can take them together. Yeah. And it won't mess up with anything that outcome that you're looking for. And so I have been experimenting with it myself. I don't take it on a regular basis, but I wanted to see, because the studies show such a drastic increase in mood, and it's so true. I mean, not everybody feels it, but I definitely love it, and I get a really concentrated dose. So I know that the one we have definitely is the highest quality. But saffron is such an incredible ingredient to add for that natural mood boosting, mental, lift that comes out of a flower. I mean, that's like what saffron is. Little
stem inside of a flower. And we actually looked at the process of farming and harvesting saffron.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. I mean, they literally grow these flowers, and they go, and because it's so delicate, they by hand pull those little stems out and gather the little, the saffron from these little stems and flowers, but hugely labor intensive to collect. And it's kind of a luxury in a lot of parts of the world.
Oh yeah.
And it has, in India and other places.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. So that's a great one.
And in fact, you mentioned this, but I want to just emphasize it, because this is part of what's been so intriguing to me about saffron, is that there is some really good literature that shows the antidepressant efficacy of saffron and how it's on par with many of the SSRIs that we try.
Exactly.
And it's not, as you said, you can take them together. It's safe. It doesn't have the side effects that a lot of those carry. And one line that I want to be careful as we talk about this stuff is not to suggest that there's not a place for medicine, because our clinics, we see people all the time who there is a role for medicine, be it temporary to lift them out of something or whatever their physician thinks. But I think that this kind of stuff has been discounted far too long by the broader kind of healthcare community.
Yes. Sometimes we're so quick to get a prescription because we feel like it will be the end-all solution to whatever we're experiencing, but sometimes it adds to the problem.
Right.
So, yeah.
And there are some powerful natural things that we should maybe at least try before we resort to medications. And saffron is...
In this case, it's something you can take simultaneously and maybe eventually wean off the one and see how you feel.
Right.
There have been, like you said, lots of great studies that support that. So
saffron's in here, and I'm very excited about that one. I just feel like it's new. You don't see it specifically. You don't see it in the dosing that we have and other all-in-one products.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
excited about that one. How about vitamin B complex? We got this trademarked vitamin B complex called Panmol.
Yep.
Any thoughts on vitamin B, the role of what that does and why we need the vitamin B complex?
Well, I am a massive fan. In fact, I take a vitamin B complex on its own by myself or by itself just because I feel a big difference in it. It's a water soluble vitamin. So we know that if you get too much of it, it just can kind of come out in your urine. But I think they're kind of like the energy vitamins. They're the ones that will help boost. Like if you look at a lot of back of energy drinks and you look at the back of them, you'll see vitamin, B6 or 12 or whatever one it is, in the 1000%, like 3000%, 4000%, because it does give your body and your mind a bit of that boost. I've come to find that it actually just helps all my other vitamins synergistically work better. So when I take all my vitamins except for the B complex that I try to take, it's not a drastic difference. I just can tell when I have it. And this Panmol one that we have, I love it because it's grown on quinoa sprouts, which I think anything sprouted is amazing. Well, I hope we talk about broccoli sprouts because that's one that I'm so excited about too. But they're all biologically active, which I love because that just means it's more bioavailable for our body. So I think this Panmol B complex is something that everybody should take as well, because again, it just is this little, it's like the magic spoon in like a big pot of all the vitamins that just kind of puts everything in motion.
Together.
I mean, that's kind of how I'm visualizing it, but I do love Panmol.
When we started doing our initial research on this, before we started to create our own, it was when we were looking for other products, and we were looking at some interesting studies that were done with a particular product we were looking at, and they compared it to people that were just taking a really high quality vitamin B complex.
Yeah.
And what was interesting was this one product that was really complicated and designed for mental health stuff, depression and anxiety treatment. People that just took a vitamin B complex also showed similar results in terms of elevated mood and energy and other things. And it was just from a good quality vitamin B complex.
Yeah.
The other thing that I found interesting about the vitamin B studies is that it similarly has shown in some studies to slow cognitive impairment.
Oh,
so
wow. Yeah.
And so as you're getting older again, and we're dealing with lots of things, dementia and those types of things. This really can slow. There are some nutritional things that can slow that. Vitamin B contributes to that.
Yes. Oh, I'm so glad you pointed that out. I do. I feel like vitamin B complex is a must.
So
that's a good one.
Yeah.
I know. How do we not go through all of these? Like some of the other ones too. I mean, I don't know if you have a list. K2 is one that
K2.
I am so excited about just because I have personal experience with cute Bill. K2 is
Bill, your husband?
Yeah. Sorry. Bill is my husband, everybody. He's so cute to me, but he's probably not so cute to Robbie.
Handsome. I wouldn't use cute. Handsome, strong, rugged.
Okay, I'll tell him that. But K2 is incredible because I remember reading the white papers on this, not too many years ago, and being blown away. Like, wait, why is this not more available to people as well? So in the simplest terms, K2 is amazing because what it does is we all know that calcium is great for our body, right?
Right.
But we can overdo it on the calcium, or it can solidify in the wrong places. One of those places being the soft tissue, like in our arteries. But K2's job is to come in and pull that calcium out of the soft tissue and put it into the bones where we need it.
Interesting.
And I love it because that is such a I think that K2 and calcium should go hand in hand always. Yeah. And I saw this in Bill. He had a stroke when I was pregnant with when I was 5 months pregnant. And so he had all these scans. He's always was getting scanned, and he had a lot of plaque build up in his arteries. And I remember being a little bit worried about it. So we have him scanned regularly just to make sure. And he takes his, he's very healthy, right? But I read about K2 and I was like, Bill,
come here.
I need you to start taking this.
At-home science experiment.
He is for everything. I'm like, oh, honey, come on, we need to try this. Let's see. Measure before, measure after. But it's so true. So K2, he was on it for about a year and then went back and had scanned, and all of his arteries were clean.
It removes all the plaque.
All of the plaque. Yeah. All the buildup from that calcium, those calcium deposits that kind of, they're everywhere, like gallbladder stones and things like that too. But I remember being blown away because it kind of runs in his family. And even his brother was like, okay, well, we got to keep checking on it. Make sure yours is okay, Bill. And I saw that K2 work firsthand in my husband. And so I remember thinking, if we can just put this in, and it actually comes, I don't think we talked about this, but it comes from a fermented
Right.
product. So of course I love it even more. But K2, especially if you're someone that takes calcium, you want to have a K2 in there. So it really just amps up the power of the calcium to strengthen your bones. So that's one of my favorite ones in there too.
We wanted to be able to say when we started this that this was 100% whole food.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were going to such great lengths to get whole food ingredients. Then we were presented with a couple things like K2.
Yep.
That this is a trademarked K2 source that comes from a fermented source. And so
natto, is that how you say it?
Yeah,
the soybean?
Yeah.
Natto. I don't know. I should know. It's Japanese, but I'm not Japanese, but I should know how to say it. So yeah.
It doesn't look appealing. We tried to put we were going to put a picture of natto or natto on the website, and it's like, oh, that doesn't look very appealing.
Tofu.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's a fermented source, we couldn't claim that this is 100% whole food, even though it's from a natural source. So anyway, if you see us not using 100% whole food, it's not that we included synthetic things. It's that we had some fermented things that don't technically qualify as whole food.
And I actually love that. Let's lean into that. I want everyone to feel like that's okay, because when we do that, we know that means that it's going to be a regulated dose that's efficacious across the board. Like it's not something to shy away from, that we know we're getting the standard and the amount right exactly every time, so that every batch of Core7 has the right amount of this fermented K2, or fermented natto that we're putting in there. And so it was also something that I was grateful to learn in this process as well. Like we don't have to shy away from some of those,
So our bone health, cardiovascular, circulatory support, proper clot. I mean, all these things.
Yeah.
K2.
Heart health too.
Heart health. Yeah.
Great.
How about choline? We use a trademarked version of choline called VitaCholine.
Yeah.
And that one has a myriad benefits. I'd love to
talk
about that one for a minute.
I like choline a lot too. I actually just started taking this. It's so funny because I take a lot of supplements, but in experimenting with this, when we go to those shows and you get all those samples.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever get any of those choline ones? And so I just start to take it and I just start to see what it is. Choline is I have this note that I wanted to say about choline that I was so excited to tell everybody about, but I'm looking for it.
I know choline supports. I can start while you're looking.
Yes, you start. I'm looking for my other one, but you go, because I wanted to share this one cool fact about choline. But
choline was one of the important ingredients that we looked at as we were trying to say, okay, we need this comprehensive thing that helps with energy and brain health and cognition. But choline does a number of things. High dose choline can support metabolism, fat metabolism, and energy production. It's a precursor to some like acetylcholine and phospholipids that are important for like utilizing different fatty acids.
Yes.
Which is really important. And it's also like, again, a cognitive impairment. This is linked to better cognitive longevity and brain health for older adults, as well as, memory, and risk of cognitive decline. So tons of benefits.
Thank you for going through all that. I found the note and I was like, oh, it was inositol that I got really excited about. I was like, oh, I want to talk about this one. But yes,
we will.
You went over those really well. So I do think choline is right on par for brain health.
We noticed when we were comparing different products that existed, those that had choline had better results in the mental health categories when we were looking for a product before deciding to create one.
And what's amazing about this one is we'd also learned this, that choline can be hard to flavor. I mean, it kind of had that eggy taste. It would almost like a rotten egg, but not really. And so the fact that they were able to put this in this right form and make it taste good is a huge accomplishment. So people will figure that out as well.
Yeah,
so.
This was one, as we started listing all the ingredients that were part of our criteria list, people would say, those won't mix well, those won't taste good.
Beware, it's gonna ruin this whole formula. But we had to plow through, and somehow it worked out to be so great. So anyways.
Okay, before we get to, let's just go to inositol because you're thinking about it.
Oh,
inositol.
Yeah, I just love this one. Also because, again, something newer in my realm of practice that I have seen, I work with a lot of young athletes. female athletes in particular. And a lot of them are struggling with this PCOS and just some issues that are coming.
PCOS. Do you want to just make sure?
Polycystic ovarian syndrome. In a nutshell, it's basically a hormone imbalance. And I think those are happening in people all around us just because, again, of the outside influences that are coming in.
Is that like less regular ovulation, or what is that? Like,
yes.
what is the...
Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's also leading to like a higher spike in insulin. Like sometimes when you eat food, you have a lower, your glycemic index doesn't stay balanced as well. And it's starting to rise and starting younger and younger. And I just remember thinking, I work with a lot of sisters that are on missions too, that experience a lot of stress and anxiety. And as the balance of hormones becomes off, one of the things that I found across the board that has helped so many young women, but also it's so great for everybody, so it's not just meant for women, is just this inositol, because it actually helps balance the hormones. And the one that we're using, this Coronasol, I don't even know how to say that right. Inositol, thank you. It's a blend. It's got the myo-inositol and then the D-cryo-inositol, which are two of the best ones you want. Like they help strengthen each other basically. And so this one I remember thinking, can we really put that in there? Because it's something that like, even I'll take it and I'll just dry scoop it and put it in my mouth. It helps men for sleep. Like there's a Dr. James Dino Colianto. He has it in his little sleep supplements. And so again, I got it for Bill. I was like, honey, let's try this one and see if you're sleeping better. So you just a dry scoop. I know. Poor Bill. He does everything. And I do it too, but I always just need a buddy to do it with me. But Bill's great. He's a good sport. So one day we'll maybe get him on here to feel what it feels like to be a lab rat in the Fox home.
Oh, that's funny.
But I love this one and I was so excited about it. I even have a close family relative that was just kind of experiencing some infertility. And I was like, well, talk to your doctor about inositol. Talk to your doctor about inositol. After a while, and the doctor, is so wonderful and they do the best that they know. And then finally we got the good news that they were expecting a baby. And I was like, well, what happened? She goes, oh, I got an inositol. And so it's really a one that's been more up in the front in my, world of nutrition. And I love, again, just for balancing hormones, helping sleep. I'm really happy about this inositol ingredient that we have in there. So
this is one where we had a chance to get just a generic inositol, which would have been less expensive, but we chose a trademarked inositol because there was a lot more research and clinicals behind it to say we can stand behind the claims that we're making with it.
Yeah.
So.
Which is really what's so fascinating about some of these ingredients too, is that they will all have, we could have 10 pages of a website with studies linked to every single ingredient. So they know, again, I know that's how I feel.
Here's all these links.
I saw that in the thing. It's just on and on of pages and again, this fine print, but I'm like, these, again, if you even do a little bit of your homework, you will know that we have done a lot of our homework, which again is, I don't know. It's just amazing that there's so much information out there. So we're happy to gather it and share it.
How about, so we have this ingredient Aquamin, which delivers both magnesium and calcium. And magnesium is one that we were very we had to make sure we had some magnesium in this product. So maybe you want to talk about Aquamin?
I think magnesium is one of my secret weapon supplements. Like if I have a client that's coming to me for the first time, it's a non-negotiable. If you don't take magnesium, it's something that you need to start with. So I remember we talked about this with Sarah. We're like, we want to put magnesium in there. And she's the one that said, well, have you guys heard of Aquaman? And of course, I'm thinking of Aquaman.
Yeah, the movie.
The movie.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And my brother has this long curly hair and I'm like, Aquaman. But as we, dove into what that actually is, I loved learning that it's like just, again, a natural source.
Right.
Algae, is that right? Did I say that? Is that what it was?
It gets from like sea minerals, like the Irish sea minerals and sea salt and other things that they extract this from.
And she said it's so concentrated that it will be wonderful because you can put a little bit of the Aquamin in. Again, another trademarked high quality with all the studies and papers to back it up, but it won't bulk up because magnesium on its own, like many of us that take it on its own, are 2 or 3 or sometimes even 4 capsules. That's a bulky supplement to add. And so with this solution, we get our magnesium numbers up and know that it's not going to take up too much space or be hard to flavor. So I love this Aquamin edition as well. So
I know I've been taking magnesium, and magnesium is another one where there's just great literature in the mental health space and with sleep and other things
that metabolic health. It helps over, depending on which doctor you want to quote, 300 to 700 metabolic functions. Yeah. So when we talk about that metabolic health, without magnesium, so many formulas that need to happen inside our body just weaken. And so magnesium, again, is non-negotiable. Yeah. Love this one.
I do too. Yeah. And again, getting it from seawater. I love,
Oh yeah, me too.
I mean, it's just fun. It's fun to think about if, if you put a map up on, a
Mhm.
screen and you could like put a pin in where
Yeah.
all these ingredients,
Saffron, India.
yeah,
Yeah.
India
Over
and the
here.
Irish Sea
Yeah.
and Denmark for the arabano, which we'll get to. And
Yes,
just
the
like,
fiber.
you
Yeah.
just see, this is really just taking things from all over the world that are
Mhm.
maybe unique to that part of the world for whatever reason,
Yeah.
but things that God created on the earth, they exist, and we're just gathering them into
Yeah.
one.
Oh, I love that visual. That is so good. Let's do it. Let's get a map.
We should create
Let's
that.
pinpoint
That
that.
would actually
That
be
would be
fun.
so fun. Yeah.
Okay, how about vitamin D? D3 specifically.
D3. D3 is great. There's vitamin D that everybody knows we get from the sun, which is so great. D3 is a more bioavailable form for our bodies in the supplement form. So again, we have a bioactive form that really does support immunity. Vitamin D is one that, again, if you don't have enough of it, a lot of things suffer in your mental health, physical health. And so D3 pairs really well also with vitamin C. I think that vitamin C is a pretty common one. I know we use the acerola cherry, but those two, vitamin D3 and vitamin C, are, I don't know which blend they fall under because they overlap a lot.
They hit a couple
Are
of
they
them.
in the immunity ones?
Yeah, they
Because I
hit
was
a
just going
couple
to
of
say,
blends.
I remember studying this in college, again, so many years ago. People probably have updated science, but the two of those together can boost your immune system upwards of 800%. Just those vitamin D and vitamin C. And then you pair it with the zinc on top of it, which is another one we have in there, that I love that how great that is for immunity. But again, under the list here, we've got mood, calcium absorption, hormone balance, brain health.
All sorts of
these things that are found in the food are literally what make our whole bodies thrive, from our eyeballs blinking to the way the blood flows through our body, to the way that our heart pumps, to the way that our lungs move. They are so critical. And the more we have of the higher quality of these vitamins, then we can just rest assured that, like, hey, we're going to age better. We're going to feel better. It's going to help with the mental health and things like that. So D3 was also a not negotiable.
I read an interesting article yesterday that was, I didn't read the actual study, but I read an article about the study that showed it was a meta-analysis. In other words, a study of different studies.
Yeah.
And they showed that people that take vitamin D2, it can actually inhibit or reduce your ability to get vitamin D3 from sunlight. And so I was like, oh, I had to remind myself, I'm like, wait, did we use D2? No, we use D3.
D3.
But no, it's important because this is all the reasons you just described. This is like a super ingredient. Yeah. And I've heard I haven't talked to somebody who had to be pulled out of school when they were younger because of like focus and just some challenges like emotionally and mentally. And they tried different medications, nothing was working. And finally somebody did a blood test and they showed you're totally deficient in vitamin D. Yeah. And so they upped their vitamin D, and like that was in this case, not in every case, but it was like this panacea. Like they were, all those things went away and they were better, went back to school.
There's a pediatrician that I know well, that I love and revere. And sometimes that's the very first thing he does, because we have a group of women and moms that share this pediatrician. And the first thing he does before he goes into any diagnosis is he says, let's up your vitamin D and let's see what happens, because of that very reason. So I love that they actually now have a study. Yeah. I mean, not actually, but they are continuing to surface, which again, will be just great to keep our fingertips on.
Okay, so your favorite topic, probiotics.
Oh yeah.
Can we? There's
all of the.
We have a number of probiotics in here, and we can choose if we want to cover all of them or just one or two of them.
The reason why I love probiotics is because, again, it's a science that fascinates me because it changes every single day. Yeah. So here I am, with a certification in gut health nutrition specialist, which is, I don't know how many years old, not very many, but still I feel like, wait, I should take a new one again because yesterday they discovered 200 more things about the gut. And so I think I'm fascinated by this because it constantly is evolving and changing. Probiotics in particularly are what just blow my mind because they really do enhance our health so much. Right. From the way that vagus nerve and the gut microbiome communicate with our brain. I love it, but
it's kind of like, sorry to interject.
No, please.
But I feel like the field of like understanding the neurobiology, like how the brain works and how different neurotransmitters work. And I feel like we're just scratching the surface. We're understanding in the last handful of years a lot more, but the gut is so connected to that. I feel like it's a similar thing where we're just scratching the surface of all that we have to learn. And that was so clear when we went to that Health Expo West, seeing the number of different topics and things that are just like emerging science in this area. To your point, it's exciting because it's like new frontier.
It's so true. And they have so much more space to explore.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll end anytime soon, which to me gives us an insight into the intricacy and the beauty of the human body. Like this, to down to the teeny little tiny microbe that is microscopic, right? And I think, wow, those little things matter. So I know one of the things we say in our nutrition classes is go small. Well, in this case, go really small with the probiotics because they will make a big difference in your health. As you know, I'm a massive proponent of probiotic foods, and just because it's simple and it's easy to add, they're almost just like condiments, right? Like add some sauerkraut, add some kombucha when you can, or kefir, make a little smoothie out of it. But what fascinates me about these 5 particular probiotic strains that we have in here is because the science has come so far, now we can take a probiotic strain and label it with this benefit, or this probiotic strain will give you this benefit, which 20 years ago, when I was like starting to creep into this, was just a guessing game, right? Like no one really had any idea. And now we have like the Rhamnosus GG, which is one of the most studied strains of probiotics that literally clinically supports immune, gut health, and has lists of benefits. I think one of the things I want to state is that well, of course they say for gut health, but this one, it's actually really resilient in the gut, which is what we want. We want to have strains that will survive more than just the stomach acid,
Right.
which is also a kind of a game that you play with a probiotic supplement.
Because they're live. I mean, they're live.
Yeah, they are. It's a living food.
Yeah.
And we have a ton in this product. I think, is it 26 billion? Is that the final number? Which again, I just think it's fantastic.
26 billion CFUs, or colony forming units, right?
Colony forming units. Yeah. And then we've got the 5 different strains, but intentional strains. So again, of course, still eat the probiotics when you can and keep adding to the diversity, but the 5 strains in here will be great.
Why did we need more than just one strain? So, because a lot of products will have 1 or 2 strains, and you see like 8 billion CFUs, that's great. But it's like 2 things. But why does diversity matter?
Oh, diversity is king when it comes to gut health, because we're all very similar for the most part, but every single one of us has different bacteria living in our gut. And so if we just pick 1 or 2 strains, it's hard. You can't actually know which one you're low in. I mean, we're getting to figure those kinds of things out more and more and more, which I love. There's
going to be some like cool diagnostics that come out in that area. I don't know how much is out there.
I sat next to one of the fellows that was in that research department coming out with these tests at this dinner when I was down at the MBJ, and I was like listening to his brain talk, and I thought, science is farther than I even knew. We only know what's published. We only know what's medically reviewed. But to sit and candidly listen to this guy talk about the things that they're creating in the lab and the way they do it, and the things that they're discovering, I thought, oh my gosh, I don't even. The more I learn, the more I realize I don't know. Yeah. Yes, it is so fascinating to me. But to answer your question about diversity, it's because, again, your bacteria in your gut is well and thriving, you're healthy, but it's probably different than mine, because what you cultivate is what you live in. So my family probably has a similar bacteria and your family has a similar bacteria, but they're probably still different from each other. So the more you add diversity, the more strength you're getting and resilience in different areas. So again, some of these are focused on immunity. Some of these are focused on brain health. Some of these are focused on,
digestion, or
yes, thank you, digestion, bloating, all sorts of things. Yep. And so the more we can kind of keep adding to that, the more we're just building up our own resilience. And I like the diversity in strains, because once you get a bacteria strain in your body and it's good and it's alive, sometimes you don't need to keep adding more of that exact same gut bacteria over and over and over again. That's why we have prebiotic fiber in here, to feed that bacteria. But the more we add diversity, the more we're just improving our resilience to all environmental stressors, if you will, and improving our immunity, improving our serotonin. So diversity in the foods we eat, and diversity in the probiotics we're exposed to, and diversity in the exercises we do, and the way, the things we expose ourselves to. Diversity is just good all around, and especially in the probiotic realm, because it just adds to what we're already cultivating. So
I don't know if we want to highlight any others, but if I were to highlight just one, which you hesitate to highlight just one, we have this trademarked, not our product, it's created by a company called Verbiotics, and it's a GABA probiotic, the LP815. And what was really interesting is, again, these trademarked ingredients, what's kind of cool about them is they typically have more studied clinicals.
Yes.
And so they've produced some trials where they've shown really interesting data, both for reduction in anxiety symptoms, people dealing with anxiety, and also improved sleep from this one probiotic strain. And they're well-designed studies. And so that's just an example of what you were saying earlier, where we're getting to the point now where you've got these super targeted probiotic strains. So if you're creating a product like this, you really can say, I want these attributes or these outcomes. Here's the probiotic strains, and find the research that points you to the inclusion of that. And then having enough there that will make a difference and survive, the war that happens when you ingest them.
Yeah. That GABA. Yeah. That's so good for calming. And again, I think that's a perfect one to highlight. We could highlight all of them. But that GABA, the Rhamnosus GG, those are two that will give you very specific results, which again, let's put those in there that we know. And as we continue to evolve all this, there'll be more that will come, and you can get them in other foods too. But this at least ensures the user that you have the best of the best to target the most popular, need, I guess, if you will. So.
And this was another interesting part of this, because we've got like a digestive enzyme blend that's going to help with digestion, but other ingredients that we were putting in here, there was a risk that they could, have some bloating and other things, but then there were some intentional probiotic strains put in that would combat that.
Yes.
And so trying to balance these ingredients, hence why we were going to launch in July, and then it's taken this long to source and test and whatever else, because it's complex, but I've appreciated some of the people who've helped us on the formulation.
I do too. And I remember Sarah teaching us about how not only are there 7 different blends, but within each blend, there's a whole network of things happening that you can't overdo, because we don't want to counteract or overreact to another blend that we have here. The complementary blends that we're trying to work together. Yes. And that matrix that we were trying to create, it's not just like, let's take all of these, which is kind of what it sounds like.
Right.
Let's throw all the best of the best in here. But it's a very strategic process that I watched unravel with eyes wide open, because I thought, oh yeah, no wonder we need to add more of this, acidophilus, because it will counteract whatever anyone that's trying probiotics for the first time might experience that. And so I love that with each of these 7 blends, there is a very, very calculated dosage and reaction expected to happen. And so one of the things we talk about because of this is, like, if you're going to try it, maybe start out with a half a dose, because it is that high quality.
Right.
And if you're someone that isn't used to, a lot of these things, like, especially when you get into the probiotics or even the mushrooms or the different digestive, whole food things might be pretty new for some people. So don't be afraid to start small with it and just experiment and see how you do. And then as you build up and your body begins to build more resilience and you get more diversity and you get better digestion, you will soon start to thrive in ways that we can't even begin to describe, because it will be different, but really incredible for everybody. So a random side note that popped into my head.
No, but that's important. I think this idea of titration, like,
yes,
ramping up, we're going to recommend that to everybody that purchases it, just to try it. Because what we don't want to happen is for this to be, it is such a powerful, comprehensive thing that is really going to have an effect on your body.
You'll feel it. And even our people in our test group.
Yeah.
We had a couple people like, my tummy feels a little funny. It's like, well, that's good.
You're not used
actually.
To eating these things. And that's a good sign, as you pointed out in that moment. It's like, this is actually a sign that this is working.
Totally.
And so, but we don't want people to have a bad first impression and take, I'm going to have 2 servings of this because it tastes good. And be like, whoa, what did I do?
What's happening? And tell me, like, I don't ever want to touch it again.
Yeah.
But keep in mind too, there's like, at least with the gut bacteria, there's that Herxheimer reaction, which is a die-off. So if your body does have more bad bacteria in it and you're introducing this good bacteria, it's going to take a minute. It shouldn't be, a long time, but maybe a day or 2 for some of that to detoxify and to kind of get out and go to the bathroom as much as you can, drink a lot of water, but expect great things, because that's all this has to offer. So anyways,
that's so fun.
That was something fun to point out.
Okay, so a companion to probiotics maybe is prebiotics.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the arabina, or this where we're getting our fiber and why that matters.
You tell everybody where. I don't remember where that one comes from.
So the arabina, it comes. I want to say it was Denmark. I'm just
trying. That one Denmark. I know. I was looking for that one. I was like, wait.
We're working with a company called Comet. And here, sorry, I'm finding my note.
I know. Which blend is that one? Did we
it's
classify?
In the digestion, gut health. Yeah. Let's see.
Oh, there it is. Yep. Okay. The arabina.
So yeah, it's a prebiotic fiber that comes from it's upcycled plant material. So basically they take some of the remnants of like a wheat harvest and they upcycle this stuff, and they get these fibers that are very good. It is gluten-free source of fiber. And all sorts of benefits there with digestion and bulking, helping us bulk our stool.
Which people,
nurture a
we
healthy
don't want to
microbiome.
underestimate how important that is.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things interesting to point out is that you put this on our notes too, is that it's a low FODMAP, which sometimes people that are on low FODMAP have to be careful of the fiber that they take because it will kind of cause some distress, right? But the fact that this one qualifies as a low FODMAP is really helpful. So again, little by little, we can help someone improve any digestive disorder that they have. I learned that about this ingredient.
We just met with this supplier the other day over lunch, Ken and I.
Oh yeah.
And he would have invited you, but
we
you're
should
out of
put
town.
Ken on here.
I know. But this is a cool one because they're finding all sorts of interesting uses. A lot of us don't get enough fiber.
Yeah.
I mean, because we don't eat enough fruits and vegetables, right?
Yeah.
And what they're doing though is finding some really interesting use cases, like even in chocolates and things.
Let's
And
do it.
They gave us these little things. They're not selling them, but they just have
Yeah.
them for conferences or whatever to show that this ingredient, it's this really well-studied, powerful, low FODMAP source of fiber, but it doesn't impact taste and texture that much. So you can put it in like a little square of chocolate and it's delicious. And you're getting like 3.5 grams of fiber.
Which fiber is also, I keep wanting to say this, King, fiber is what makes our whole digestive system work really well. I think we are low in fiber, and that's what fiber, that prebiotic fiber feeds the probiotic. So they work together really well. So I love that people, let's put it in chocolate. Let's put it in things that maybe conventionally normally wouldn't carry it because it's that important for the gut. Did you bring any back?
No, I ate them.
Okay,
I only had
that's
2.
fine. Oh, that's awesome.
How about, I'm
I know,
deciding how deep we
looking
want
at
to
it.
go on this.
Okay.
Okay, let's just hit a couple and we'll hit them a little bit faster
Okay,
than we've hit
okay.
some of these. But how about, and then you tell me if there's some specific ones you want to go deeper on. Turmeric and their curcumin.
I love that.
So what is that? Why is that important? What does that do?
Turmeric's main role is anti-inflammatory. So in fact, I've been using this for a very long time in the sports performance world. I mean, going on over a decade, because a lot of the times if there's an injury or you're overtraining, your internal inflammation rises. And so your body doesn't heal as well or recover, or to be honest, even create lean muscle mass as efficiently when we have too much inflammation. And when someone's high stress, it's not just working out, but high stress, high, just in external elements that would cause your stress, right? Not just a physical thing. Turmeric is one of the easiest ways. In fact, I have turmeric teas that I have and pass out to clients. I have like this golden paste stuff that I make at home. You can buy it in capsules, but turmeric and curcumin are what reduce inflammation naturally. We always think it has to be like an Advil or something like that, but really turmeric is probably one of the more powerful ones.
A good anti-inflammatory.
And the other one that I never say, I always say curcumin, but that's the one. Is this the one that we had? They said it was effective like the black pepper. Because one of the things about turmeric,
when you do it with
I wanted to make
black
sure I
pepper,
wasn't just making that up. Yes, but when you have turmeric, it's not as effective until you add a little bit of black pepper. So whenever I use it in my things, like some of them already come that way, but if I just use turmeric from a spice, I'll always add a crack of black pepper onto my eggs with the turmeric or whatever I'm making, because it activates it and makes it more effective. So we have that paired with the turmeric to make sure that it actually, again, activates the turmeric and lowers the body's inflammation levels, which if your body is inflamed, it's impossible to feel healthy. Like inflammation is the root cause of all disease.
Including cancers and other things.
Yep.
At least a contributing factor to
You're
it.
exactly right. It's linked to. And so keeping our inflammation low is really important. So I love that this is a natural way to do it, and will little by little build up and lower the inflammation.
I found when my father, a little over a year and a half ago, diagnosed. Well, no, geez, it's been 2 years. He was diagnosed, and then he passed away last summer.
Okay.
But started researching a ton of stuff about what can slow the growth of cancer, and there's some really compelling evidence that turmeric as an anti-inflammatory can help slow the progression of cancer.
Absolutely. And because of that, it's linked to the inflammation, which I think we're all a little bit more inflamed than we'd ever like to admit. People that are really active sometimes can have it from being too physically active. A little bit's good. We don't want to get rid of it entirely, but turmeric's a wonderful addition to this as well. Should we talk about the mushrooms too?
Oh yeah,
because I think that's
do the mushrooms.
So cool.
And then let's do the mushrooms, and then let's do a rapid fire on like amino acids.
Okay. And broccoli sprouts.
Flour, broccoli sprouts, ashwagandha, ginger powder, and maybe we'll just maybe we'll do another Part two.
Just email us, okay?
Yeah.
We'll get a document out to you with all the things. But I just didn't want to forget, because one of the things that I had been on the hunt for is a good mushroom supplement until this came along.
Yeah.
And I have looked, and there are many that are out there, but there's also ingredients that either aren't enough or things that I don't want, like caffeine. Like most of the mushroom supplements, like mud water or whatever those ones that are kind of like that,
Yeah.
which are great. They have the right amount of mushrooms, but I don't want the caffeine. And so I'm so excited that we have these mushrooms in here. And so mushrooms are incredible. I wrote this down because I didn't want to forget, but mushrooms are great because they permeate the blood-brain barrier, which is what you want in an effective brain and cognitive health supplement. And it led me down this little rabbit hole of like, what is it in the mushroom that makes the brain stronger? And so I just can't help myself but be curious about a lot of those things. And because it crosses the blood-brain barrier, it induces this nerve growth factor, which helps growth and differentiation and repair. And so I started just thinking about these mushrooms as they're broken down, all the different compounds they contain, how they're breaking in and actually getting into the brain and just little by little releasing. It even releases that BDNF, that protein that comes from muscle contraction.
Brain-derived neurotropic factor.
Yes, I love that brain-derived neurotropic factor. I think it's one of the coolest things that we should shout from the world. Pick up a weight and eat some mushrooms, because you will literally improve your brain so much from that. But just this nerve growth factor thing was really incredible to me. So those were lion's mane, reishi, cordyceps, turkey tail. Those are the 4 mushrooms we have. These are ones that have been well studied and well proven to talk about how it will help nerve focus, supports focus, memory, calm, stress. I'm just reading off this list. Boosts oxygen utilization and endurance. So I am really excited about the mushrooms.
I am too.
And if you take them, I make Bill take this tincture, guys. I didn't mean for Bill to be the center of this, but I'm just now exposing all these supplements that I make him try. We were at this incredible farmer's market in Florida. Weren't we there the same year, the Rosemary Beach?
Oh yeah.
And there was this farmer's market, and I woke up and ran over there, and it was so beautiful, but there was these beautiful high quality mushroom tinctures, and it was like, improve your sleep and improve your brain. And I thought, let's try these. It's, Billy, you don't sleep well, try these. But they are bitter and they are not very good. So I think he finished it just out of diligence, but again, to make them taste really good and to be effective, I am so excited about these mushrooms, because it wasn't something on my radar when we were thinking about what do we want to put in here and how can we make this. Of course it's magnesium and D3 and all those ones, but the fact that we put mushrooms in is exceptionally amazing. So
I'm excited too that it's in this form, because for whatever reason, I see it a fungus, and you see it in the grocery store, and like these, I didn't know you could buy these in some grocery stores. Like I went and some of these ones I didn't expect
people
to see
use them
there.
Instead of like a hamburger patty, they use like mushroom patties.
Yeah, well, like big portobello mushrooms and stuff. But I didn't know. I went and I found lion's mane. And I found cordyceps.
It's beautiful.
But they look like things that I wouldn't want to eat.
Yeah, no.
Like a big fungus. So putting them in a powder and then having it taste delicious to get rid of some of the bitter, and then getting all the immunity benefits, the sleep benefits, the mental health benefits. There's tons with these different mushrooms.
Yeah,
so
this one I'm really excited about.
I am too. I think it's going to be an active part of what helps people notice a difference in how they feel.
Totally. And it's one thing too that's really limited to find. You'll find just mushrooms, or you'll find just a greens drink, or you'll find just a whole foods, or you'll find just a probiotic. So they're easy to find isolated, if you will, but the fact that you can get it all in one scoop, take that with your lunch when you're also eating other foods and let it assimilate together. It's a really powerful combination. So
we're excited about that. Let's hit, because you brought it up, let's hit the broccoli sprout powder, and then we'll come back and do kind of rapid fire on a couple of these others.
Okay. Well, I just love this one because I love broccoli sprouts, because they are one of the most powerful little tiny, sprout compound basic or whatever it is, a little sprout that you can eat. I love them because they are 25% more effective than even just broccoli. And broccoli is so good for you, but it's because of this sulforaphane. Sulforaphane is, if you will, I don't know if I can legally say this, but it's like an anti-cancer. Basically, it helps, reduce all of those risks of the cancers of like breast, prostate, colon, skin, lung, gastric, bladder cancer. And even the reason why I love them is because you just need 1/3 of a cup. So I sprout broccolis on a regular basis, broccoli seeds on a regular basis at my house, and my kids now throw them in their tacos, and it just makes me feel good, and they help with your digestion. So I love them, but I also love them just because they're just great at detoxing, and they literally protect your cells.
Hmm.
So I think we talked about, someone was saying, you can also get some of the sulforaphane in the spinach, but there's something about a broccoli sprout that is the number one. I mean, across, you ask the World Health Organization, whoever's studying this, there is a powerful component to that broccoli. And it's funny because broccoli gets a bad rap. Like, nobody wants to eat their broccoli. Like when you were a little kid, it was like, oh, eat your broccoli, you can't leave the dinner table, but rightfully so, because broccoli is incredible. So
Yeah, I'm excited about that one too.
Yeah. And there's another green. I just wanted to give a shout out to spirulina.
Please.
I love spirulina. I've also used this in a lot of my smoothies for years. Spirulina is so cool because it improves our nitric oxide. And this is huge, especially if you're working with athletes, because it expands basically your blood vessel capacity. So more blood flow, more circulation. When there's circulation and blood flow, things repair, things grow, things move. And so I'm fascinated by nitric oxide and how much that just helps deliver nutrients better. So anyways, those are two of my favorite greens that we've got. There's reds. I think there's the cherries in there too.
There's beetroots. There's acerola cherry, which is where we're getting our vitamin C.
100% more concentrated than like an orange, which is incredible.
Spinach, kale. Let's see what we didn't hit. We didn't hit ahi flour, which is we really wanted an omega, and you can't put fish oil in a powdered supplement. And other algae sources and stuff. We just concluded that this ahi flour, for what we were creating in this kind of all-in-one product, got us a step in the right direction in terms of omegas. Probably the one area we've talked about in the past, that if somebody's going to take Core7 and they're only going to take one other thing, probably a good omega.
I support that wholeheartedly. The only thing you could bump up would be the EHA and the DPA. Did I say that right? Of the omegas that you'd want. But the ahi flour, like you said, is a wonderful
If you're not taking any omegas, you're not eating a lot of fish, this is a step in that right direction. You're going to get a lot of the benefits from having good quality omega-3s with this ahi flour that will not make this taste like fish.
I know. Which, if it tastes like fish, no one, especially the kids, can you imagine?
Yeah.
And we have tried fish gummies, fish liquids, fish lemon, everything, and you cannot mask it. So just let's stick with ahi flour. Great. This was perfect.
Ashwagandha.
Oh,
any comments on ashwagandha?
Just another incredible super herb that helps with sleep. It helps with manage cortisol, stress.
Yeah, it's another mental health one that a lot of people get benefits from.
I love ashwagandha.
So we're excited about ashwagandha. We've got ginger powder. I mean,
so good for digestion, the ginger.
I don't know where else. We could go down the whole list, but I think in the interest of time, maybe we stopped there.
We covered most of them. We did a lot of those they're all hero ingredients, to be honest, in this kind of a formula.
But we hit a lot of the big ones.
Hit a lot of them, yeah.
How about flavor? Do you want to just quickly hit on flavor? What does it taste like?
This was fun because we kept thinking we knew that it wanted to taste exactly like this one particular one. And we're like, that's it, do or die. It has to taste like this. So as we went to that tasting, it wasn't what we had expected. But little by little, I think it evolved. There was the first one that we went to together. And then I think, was it the kids that actually made the game changer?
Totally.
So Robbie, you brought some kids.
My sister and my nieces and nephews and some neighbor kids.
Yeah. And didn't they have the suggestion? You should actually tell the story because I think it tastes fantastic, but it was.
So we were ordering these organic raspberry, strawberry, and citrus, like lemon flavors.
Oh yeah.
And so it was like the citrus berry flavor. And then the kids were kind of like, I like it. They liked it, but it wasn't like they were excited about it.
Yeah.
And then my sister is the one she saw like a tiger's blood flavoring syrup over at this flavoring company. She's like, you guys have anything that tastes more like tiger's blood? Kids love tiger's blood.
That's true.
And
Snow cones?
Yeah. And like, well, that's kind of like berry and coconut. And like, well, could we try it with coconut instead of the citrus flavor? And like, sure. And so they went and got some of the ingredient and mixed that in and brought it out, and the kids just loved it. And so it's a raspberry, strawberry, and coconut flavor that it mixes well. It tastes good.
Yeah. It's one of the things we've talked about too is the color might not be your favorite color.
Picture turmeric, which is bright orange,
right?
And fiber like arabana, like tan,
and then add a hint
ginger.
of ashwagandha and some green in there. It looks like the earth.
It looks like
it's kind of what we kind of came to. So we thought, let's not add any artificial colors or things that pull color out to mask that. Which again, I just love that we'll lean into it, and it kind of has this golden, earthy brown color, a little bit of green depending on what light you get it in, but it tastes delicious. So just if someone has a hard time looking at it, don't look at it. Yeah. Just close your eyes and just enjoy how delicious and nutritious it is. So
it is. And you think about, like, again, nothing synthetic in there, no coloring. We could have gone down that path, but That
No.
would take away from
This
everything
will-
else we were doing.
I agree. So
Okay, so we mentioned that November 12th, this is going to be
the
going
day.
out to the world, and we're going to cap it initially at 2,000 subscribers just for the first couple
Yeah.
months, because we have a lot more inventory than that. But if people subscribe and they get it every month,
They'll be sad when they're on back order.
yeah, so we're going to cap it at 2,000 subscribers. There are benefits to subscribing and purchasing it now.
Huge.
Like, we want to get this to the world. And so we're going to give discounts and things that will lock in for the life of the purchase, or the life of a subscription if people purchase it early.
Yeah.
And we're making available to them access to your class. And we're going to do another episode on all this ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
But this is not about selling a supplement. As we go back to the mission of helping people cultivate sense of meaning and purpose, part of that is you got to be healthy if you want to live kind of the higher levels of purpose and meaning in life. And so
I love it. I think I just want to add to this last little thought, because sometimes you think, okay, well, where does this fall in the needs of my health regimens and things like that? But because this is such a high quality product, I just want to put in a little plug there that we all have so much potential to reach, right? And I just love that this adds to us reaching that potential. And I feel this way genuinely about the human body, is that when we take care of our body and we put in clean, beautiful supplements that come from the earth, it literally increases our capacity to hold light. And I've said it, I say it a lot, but I just feel like when you hear that, it gives you a visual that, like, yeah, my body is capable of that. And it's not for the aesthetics. It's not for any other reason other than having this ability to hold light. And light is everything in the world, right? Like, especially in a world that's getting a little bit darker and little things that we're coming across. So that's just my little, like, testimony, if you will, a foodamony, if you will, of this supplement, because it really, truly has that ability, which is remarkable. And I think there's nobody in the world that would say no thanks to light. Right. So of course we want it. So I just am so grateful for this product, for this experience, and for the company behind all of it, for what you do and the way you've so diligently just kept that standard. Like, there was no compromising on any of it, which is remarkable.
Literally never one
Not
step.
once. Yeah. So it's amazing.
Well, I think we genuinely believe, and I say we, like, together, we believe that God created things that exist on the earth that can unlock the body's innate ability to be healthy physically and mentally.
Yep.
And if we just use our bodies the right way, exercise, and we rest our bodies the right way, sleep and mindfulness, and we fuel them the right way with nutrition and things like that, we can combat so many of the issues that plague our society, whether that's heart disease related things or cancers or mental health related things. I just think our bodies were made to be resilient if we use them, fuel them, and rest them the right way. So
absolutely,
this is a step in that direction.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Well, thank you for spending this time, for being an expert in some of these areas.
You
and for
are
helping
just
us
as much an
create
expert in Core7. I do have to say that. You know this product inside and out. It's so fun to listen and to chat about it together, because it makes me even more excited about it. November cannot come soon enough.
Yeah. Follow us on Instagram.
And then is the website Core7?
Core7.com.
Yeah.
You can go there right now. It'll redirect you to Ampelis.org with information about the product. But the Core7.com website will launch this week, I believe. And so we're right there at the precipice of making this available to you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming on this journey with us. We hope you are blessed by this and your children. And we're happy to answer questions. So follow us on Instagram. If you do purchase the product, if you do subscribe, you can subscribe now in like a pre-launch phase. Use the promo code podcast. You'll get an additional discount. And again, that discount will be locked in for the life of your purchase. So thank you. And please join us again for another episode of Core Conversations.
Yes. Thank you.
Good morning. For the first day in a long time, don't feel like watching from the sidelines. Yeah, I'm waking with the sunrise. Get a taste of the daylight. This time I'ma live it up. I sing it out at the top of my lungs.